the working weekend. You're looking forward to go for your weekend where you can relax, you can chill and catch up with friends and loved ones. Thank you for sticking with us here on ABC News GH. The morning today will bring you a variety of conversations that you would love. On our front story, we'll look at the Boko conflict. It's something that is bothering us as Ghanaians, especially the security of the nations as we enter into the election. So we'll have conversations on the Boko conflict. We'll bring you the latest in sports and all you need to know about Tech Trick. Today there's something Mello will bring you on Tech Trick that you want to be a part of. Because today is Friday, we want to give you the opportunity to speak a lot on ABC in the morning. On Business Fix, we are asking you who run a shop or any business, are you making any profits on your business? Are you making a profit on your business? If you are, you can call us on 0539161609 and share with us if you are indeed making any profit on your business. If you aren't, still call us and tell us what are the challenges you are facing in your business and how can the economy improve to also aid your business improve. On Ghana Speaks, we will again open the phone lines for you to also have your say. All that is happening in Parliament, what do you think about it? Barely 30 days to the elections. Parliament is still going back and forth. Have your say on what's happening in Parliament. So we'll open the phone lines for you to speak on Parliament. So the phone lines will be open for Ghana Speaks and Business Fix. You want to take advantage of that. On politics today, we will be discussing the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission has released the voter statistics, yet there are still concerns about them. We'll have conversations on that. And on our main discussion, we'll bring you conversations. We'll speak with experts on Parliament again. The Speaker adjourning Parliament indefinitely. We'll have more conversations on that today. So you want to stick and stay with us on ABC in the morning because today's conversation is all for you and I know you would love it. Happy Hour is there for you if you want to wish your friend, your loved ones any happy birthday or any wish. You can send us that wish on 0539161609. We will be glad to do that for you. And also our executive interview is for you. That startup you have started, that business you have entered to, that venture you are building. Get in touch with us and let us speak on executive interview. Because we are into the elections, we are bringing you Poll Center. Poll Center is your credible election guide for everything you need about this elections. You want to be tuned in to ABC News GH for Poll Center. We'll look at previous elections and tie it into this elections. If you have not yet made a decision, maybe because of Poll Center, you would make a decision ahead of 7th December. So you want to be glued to the Poll Center where we say it is votes, not violence. Ahead of the elections, it's only your votes that is needed before, during, and after the elections. Before the elections, make up your mind on who you are going to vote for. During the elections, go to your polling center and vote for the person. After the elections, stay and sit at home and wait for EC to declare the results. Don't be used as a tool or conduit for any form of violence. It's your vote that is needed. So votes, not violence. This is what we have for you on ABC in the morning today. I am Abna Manti. Stay with us. We'll be back with Front Story. You're welcome back and watching ABC in the morning. Into our front story today, we are looking at the issue of Boko. What is happening in Boko? So we will focus on the prolonged and deepening conflict in Boko, which has taken a new turn amidst allegations of political undertones influencing the situation. We'll be exploring the latest developments and the serious implications these could have for peace and security in the region. The conflict in Boko has been an enduring issue marked by decades of communal clashes and strife that have cost lives, displaced families, and disrupted economic activities. In recent weeks, the situation has been exacerbated by claims from the Kusaug People's Congress, a local socio-political group, accusing the government of fueling the disturbances. The group, in a press conference held on Thursday, November 4, asserted that the government must take full responsibility for its inaction and complicity in failing to apprehend Seydou Abagri, the purported illegal chief whose return has sparked the disturbances witnessed in the area. The group questioned the seeming bias by government for the Mamprusi, as they stated that they believe the Bawumia factor has been a key driver that continues to fuel the Boko conflict since November 2021. We've got excerpts of the oppressor, and let's take a watch, and when we return we will zone into the full details of this presser. Let's listen to what the Kusaug people said at their presser.
Asante Hene's mediation, after failing to enforce law and order, the president bizarrely invited Asante Hene to mediate. Since November 2021, people brazenly commit crimes in broad daylight, film themselves, and share on social media. Yet not a single person has been arrested or apprehended and successfully prosecuted. The Akufo-Addo Bawumia government is therefore fully, I want to underline fully, responsible for the ongoing bloodshed in Boku and other parts of the Upper East region, and in Walewale, the hometown of the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Since November 2021, people brazenly commit crimes in broad daylight, film themselves, and share on social media. Yet not a single person has been arrested or apprehended and successfully prosecuted. The Akufo-Addo Bawumia government is therefore fully, I want to underline fully, responsible for the ongoing bloodshed in Boku and other parts of the Upper East region, and in Walewale, the hometown of the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Since November 2021, people...
Yesterday they held a press, and this is what they are saying. They say that the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government is fully responsible. They place emphasis on the word fully responsible for the ongoing conflict in Boko. Let's take a look at details from the presser yesterday. So the Kusaug People's Conference, government inaction and complicity. They say that government has not acted and government is complicit in the ongoing conflict. The government itself has said severally that what is happening in Boko is criminality. Since November 2021, people brazenly commit crimes in broad daylight in the affected areas, film themselves and share on social media. Yet not a single person has been apprehended and successfully prosecuted. Ladies and gentlemen, all of Kusaug and the people of Boko are in deep pain. Since November 2021, our people have felt abandoned and betrayed by the state. We want to state emphatically that the conflict has dragged on all this while because of government inaction, mixed messaging and complicity. It is under the watch of the current government that the Mamprusi in Boko performed a funeral of a deposed chief who died way back in 1981. All previous administrations did not permit the performance of this funeral. Under this government, the Mamprusis performed the funeral in defiance of a court injunction order. They then proceeded to Nalerigu in February 2023 and purportedly skinned the rival chief of Boko in total disregard for the fact that Boko has a fully gazetted chief who has been on the skin for the past 40 years. The government declared the action illegal and issued a warrant of arrest against Nayiri and the purported Enskin chief Seidu Abagri. Nayiri's arrest warrant was almost immediately withdrawn. Abagri remained free and lived in plain sight in Nalerigu. President Akufo-Addo went to Nalerigu last month, purportedly apologized to Nayiri for the arrest warrant and promised that the fugitive Abagri will return to Bawku. The following day, Abagri's warrant was rescinded. And these are some of the things that the Kusau People's Congress have said. They believe expressly that the President Akufo-Addo and his government are complicit in what is happening, because it is by his instruction or the words he said that has given the Mamprusis illegal chief the confidence to return to Bawku and has caused all of this violence to escalate. So far, 21 persons are reported to have lost their lives due to the disturbances in the area. Let's have conversations on this. We have joining us Reverend Professor John Azuma. He is the president of the Kusau People's Congress. Prof, good morning and thank you for your time.
Good morning to you and good morning to your listeners, and thank you for having me.
Prof, yesterday at your press conference, you were very emphatic about the complicity of the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government. This conflict has been going on for decades now. Why would you say that this particular government is complicit in the conflict?
Yeah, thank you for your question. And it pained my heart that we had to say that. We are non-partisan, we are a political group, but when these things are happening and the lives of your people are at stake, you have no choice but to seek and to say things with clarity. What is happening in Bawku is, like we said in our press statement, yes, Bawku conflict has been there for decades. But for the past 40 years, there's a chief. Bawku has been peaceful. Many governments have come and gone. And this funeral that was performed more than 40 years after the person died, many governments in the past have refused it because they knew the implication. They knew what it meant. It was under this government's watch that the funeral took place. They issued a court order against it, and the Mamprusis went ahead and performed the funeral. The government arrested a few people, locked them up, if they actually locked them up, for a few days, and released them. Nothing happened afterwards. The people proceeded to Nalerigu and skinned the chief, so they claim. The government comes out and says it's illegal. What do you do when people do illegal things? You hold them to account. The government issued arrest warrant, withdrew the arrest warrant. President Akufo-Addo went to Nalerigu, apologized to Nayiri. So we heard on social media that was put out by the Mamprusis themselves. And he promised them that this chief will go back. And he went back indeed. The following day, the arrest warrant was removed. And he went back to Bawku, sparking the conflict once again. This violence had almost subsided. Life was getting back to normal. What is in this for the government? What is in it for the government? That they couldn't maintain it, the peace in Bawku, and had to let this fugitive, illegal chief that they themselves said is illegal to return to Bawku and to reignite the conflict, leading to the loss of innocent lives and destruction of property. What else can we say than to say that the government is complicit? They have given mixed messages. They say things they don't do. They say things, one thing to one party and do another thing. Say things to Ghanaians and completely do the opposite in behind closed doors. And we see the evidence. The action and the inaction of the government speaks louder than their words. That's the point we are making. That is what makes them complicit.
So their actions and inactions there the confusing nature of their actions is what you are saying has made them complicit.
Exactly.
But Reverend, don't you think that in bringing political insinuations into this conversation, you would be detracting from what the issue is? We'll be going away from the conflict of it into the politics of the issue. People will now rather dwell on the politics side of it, especially as we are entering into elections, and then we'll talk about the issue, but the core of the issue may be left away.
Yeah, I get that point. And that's why I said it pained us to even come out openly and say this. Because we are mindful of the season that we are in. Having said that, we have not accused the NPP as a party. But we are accusing the government. The government is the one entrusted with responsibility for running the state, including Bawku. The government is the one that has the duty to bring about peace and stability in all corners of Ghana, including Bawku. It is this very government that came out and pronounced the action that happened there as illegal. They have the instruments and levers of the state, the judiciary, the security, whatever they need, it is in their hands. Who else can we blame? If they had taken the actions that they themselves said they would, we wouldn't be where we are today. Like you rightly said, this conflict has been going on and off for decades. And every single violent conflict in Bawku was always sparked by the Mampusis. Because the Kusasis have been given the chieftaincy way back in 1984. And the chief there now has been on the skin for 40 years. Why will you have the chieftaincy be fighting again? The Kusasis have never started this conflict again. It is the Mampusis who have been agitating, provoking, insulting the Kusasi chief brazenly in Bawku, and the Kusasi chief has been saying that, let's be patient.
Why?
Insults is not injury. That's what has happened. And
Reverend,
now the government is...
Why are they always attacking you, as you're saying? You're saying it's the Mampusi that is always the one attacking, insulting. Why that? Where does that come from?
Unfortunately, it is coming from a history of a sense, the Mampusi's sense of superiority over Kusasis, which is a false sense of superiority dating back to ages ago, centuries ago, and they are living in that century, those centuries. Kusasis have moved past that. We have professionals all across the country in every sector of social and political and educational life. They are stuck in the past. And they think that the Kusasi today is the Kusasi of the past.
Reverend,
and they think that they should continue to rule.
Reverend, not to detract from the conversation, but this is something I would want you to dwell on in maybe 30 seconds for us to understand. You say that this dates back to a certain false sense of superiority the Mampusi have over the Kusasi. For those of us who may be ignorant of some of these history, some history like this, can you break it down for us in maybe 30 seconds?
Sure. Before the Mampusis had moved into the Kusasi area as settler communities long before the British arrived. And before the British arrived, they sent somebody there to go and look for chiefs to sign treaties with them in the north. And this person was George Ekim Ferguson in 1892. And they sent him there again in 1894. George Ekim Ferguson went looking for chiefs to sign the treaty with the British. He signed these treaties in the Dagomba, Gonja, Mampusi area. When he got to the Kusasi area, George Ekim Ferguson reported in his diary, which is published, that there was not a single chief there. He couldn't find a chief, and he proceeded to Burkina Faso and went to other places. Now, the British arrived, and they couldn't find chiefs in Kusasi area because Kusasi don't have chiefs. But they had chiefs in the Mampusi area. And the British wanted chiefs, and the British imposed some Mampusi chiefs over the Kusasi area. That is what happened. This is the history. And when the British were about to leave, the Kusasi started agitating that they wanted to have their sovereignty, their independence back. And in 1957, they skinned their own chief. In 1957, June 6. And the British, and the conflict started. There was no open conflict, but the agitation started. And the British set up a committee to investigate. The committee reported that the Kusas are the indigenous of the area. They are the owners of the land, and that the Mampuses were imposed on them by the colonial government. They gave the chieftains to the Kusasis. The Mampuses refused and went to court. The case went to the appeals court in 1958, and they ruled against the Mampuses and said the Kusasis are the rightful owners of the area. Fast forward 1966, coup d'etat came, and the Mampuses lobbied that it was Kwame Nkrumah who caused it, who took their chieftains away. And the Kotoka government gave the chieftains back to the Mampuses without going into the matter. Fast forward, Rawlins comes in 1981, and the Kusas also started agitating. Rawlins went into the matter, investigated it, came out with also another decree to counter the Kotoka 66 decree, and gave the chieftaincy back to the Kusasis, saying that he was restoring what was done in 1957, because that was set by a committee and that was ruled by the court. So Rawlins' decree in 1975 was to give the chieftain 84 was to give the chieftaincy back to the Kusasis. So the Kusasis have had the chieftaincy since then. And the Mampuses have been agitating and fighting to get it back. They are a small minority. Mampusi area is in Nalerugu, Gambaga, Walewale. Kusasi area is in Boko, Pusiga, Garu, Benduri, Timpane, Zebila. All of these areas are Kusasi areas. The Kusasi area has 6 constituencies. The Mampusi area has 3 constituencies. And the Mampusi still insists that they will have to inskin a Mampusi chief in Nalerugu and send him to Boko to rule over Kusasis. Okay. Which tribe in Ghana will accept another tribe to rule over them in the 21st century?
Okay. Reverend, I believe that we get the background of this better. As you have mentioned that government is complicit in this issue, how do you perceive your people's trust in government now?
The trust is very, very, very limited, if any at all. In fact, I am so surprised that the MPP would mess itself this way. The MPP stood a good chance to have won a number of seats in the Kusasi area, but for this conflict. But for this conflict, that the MPP messed itself up, they would have won a number of seats in the Kusasi area. In the whole of the Upper East, the MPP has 1 seat, and that seat is in the Kusasi area in Benduri. The whole of the Mampusi area, MPP, they don't even have a seat in Nalerugu. So I don't know what the MPP government has thought about. They're supposed to have intelligent people there who can analyze issues, and they are not doing it. So the Kusasi people are now very angry.
Okay.
Even the Kusasi MPP people on the ground are now under pressure.
Reverend, we are joined by security analyst Adib Sani. Let's take his initial thoughts and then we'll come back to you, Reverend.
Thank you.
Hello, Adib. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for your time this morning.
A pleasure is mine.
The Kusau People's Congress say that government is complicit in this fight or in this conflict. From your perspective, how credible are the allegations of this political bias as made by the Kusau People's Congress?
Well, it is very hard for me to tell. Perhaps they might be privy to some information that I am not privy to.
Adi,
however,
what they said, let me give you a recap so that we can better speak on it. The Kusau People's Congress say that their president or the NPP government is complicit because, and let me read a portion of their statement so that I'm giving you verbatim what they said. Ladies and gentlemen, all of Kusaug and the people of Boko are in deep pain. Since November 2021, our people have felt abandoned and betrayed by the state. We want to state emphatically that the conflict has dragged on all this while because of government inaction, mixed messaging and complicity. It is under the watch of the current government that the Mampusis in Boko performed a funeral of a deposed chief who died way back in 1981. All previous administrations did not permit the performance of this funeral. Under this government, the Mampusis performed the funeral in defiance of a court injunction order. They then proceeded to Nalerigu in February 2023 and purportedly skinned a rival chief for Boko in total disregard of the fact that Boko has a fully gazetted chief who has been on the skin for the past 40 years. The government declared the action illegal and issued warrants and arrests against Nairi and the purported and skinned chief, Seidu Abagri. Nairi's arrest warrant was almost immediately withdrawn. Abagri remained free and lived in plain sight in Nalerigu. President Akufo-Addo went to Nalerigu last month on October 2024, purportedly apologized to Nairi for the arrest warrants and promised that the fugitive Abagri will return to Boko. The following day, Abagri's warrant was rescinded by the appeals court in Tamale, paving the way for him to return to Boko in a secret and cowardly fashion like a thief. Abagri's return reignited the violence which had subsided, and it is on the back of this that the Kusau People's Congress say that the government's actions and inactions have made them complicit in this escalating conflict.
Well, are you there? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Well, that is interesting to note. But what I do know for a fact is that government has not shown the resolve, the commitment needed to deal with this case. Okay, it is true that there was an arrest warrant on him when he was enskined by the Nairi. However, through the efforts of their lawyer, the Venerable Martin Pebu, the arrest warrant was revoked, making him a free man. Then from nowhere, someone I would have expected that there would be surveillance on him, and knowing full well that if he comes into Boku, it's going to be fire, was able to get into Boku. And of course, it begets the question of whether there was state complicity or not. Because I remember that evening I was called by a state official. The person was like, Adi, there's fire on the mountain. Then I was like, what fire? Then he retorted, Abagri is in Boku. I screamed. I was like, what? There's going to be serious trouble. The person speaking to me was also very troubled by that, incident. And so the following day, it was still quiet. I called a number of contacts, asking them what was going on because it's still quite silent. Because at that time, the news was already out. Because when Abagri got to town, they performed some rites and, did all manner of things that was put out there on social media. Now, someone told me that, Ali, they are preparing and it's going to be hellish. And truly, because this wasn't secret information, this wasn't the National Security Intelligence. I mean, everybody knew that Abagri's presence in Boku is going to trigger violence. And government did nothing about it. And now we are here. Okay. Now the question is, on what basis are we is he going to be arrested? Because currently, as it stands per the law, he's as free as you and myself. Okay? The only issue is the fact that he claims to be the Boku Naba, hence rivaling Na Azoka the second. Okay? And that, of course, poses some security challenges to the area. So for national security expedience, I would have thought government would do something about his presence. Okay. Unfortunately, nothing of that sort has happened, and the area has been restive for some time now, and is presenting to us different challenges. The possibility of even elections not being held if the security situation doesn't improve. And that would also present a human rights dimension to the issue. Okay. So in my opinion, if you ask me, I think government hasn't done much to deal with this issue.
But
It's just been, government is just managing it until maybe another government comes to inherit it and they will also manage it. I've not seen any tacit commitment on the part of government to solve this issue once and for all. The everyday straight jacket approach has always been the deployment of military and police personnel and the imposition of curfew, and beyond that, nothing. Unfortunately.
Adi, with insinuations like this, the government is complicit, what impact will it have on the dynamics of the conflicts like this one in Boko? Because now one party believes that the government is complicit, and especially in various conversations all over, you hear because the vice president and flag bearer for the NPP is Eman Prusi, that is why government is quite lenient with the issue. What impact does this have on the dynamics of this conflict?
Sometimes the only reason people refrain from violence is because they believe the state can provide them security, the state can provide them justice. But if government is accused of complicity, then people might be forced to take matters into their own hands because they cannot trust government to provide them the security or justice they so much desire. And a clear case lies in the fact that when someone kills my kinsman in Boku, on a normal day, what do? You go to the police, you lodge a complaint or make a report. The police would institute an investigation, perhaps arrest suspects, make them have their day in court, and in the end, it is up to the court to find them guilty or to acquit them. But because people don't trust the state, when someone kills my kinsman, what I do is to also go and look for an AK and go and kill theirs. As a result, it has given rise to a cycle, a never-ending vicious cycle of violence, counter-violence, and reprisals because of the lack of trust in state institutions. As a matter of fact, the recent round of violence happened over and over and over again without state security intervention to a large extent. Maybe they might have intervened in a limited fashion, but so far as I am concerned, and based on all the information I have gathered, there was no intervention.
Okay. Adib,
Okay,
I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you. Let me ask Reverend this. Reverend, you have said you've had your day to say what the Kusauk people are feeling. Right now, what steps would you like to see government take to address your concerns and rebuild the trust that the Kusauk people should have had in government?
Yeah, thank you. The issue is like my brother has said, is the lack of commitment on the part of the government. The government says one thing and does another thing, as I said. We want the government to really, when Akufo-Addo came to power, Bawku was peaceful. Bawku was booming with business. He came to government and inherited a peaceful, booming Bawku. He is managing this, as my colleague said, to hand over Bawku on fire to the next president. And I told them, I have been meeting government ministers, and I told the ministers, tell President Akufo-Addo not to hand this problem to any of the incoming president, whether it's Bawumia or John Mahama, because Bawumia is himself implicated because by virtue of the fact that he's a Mampus, you are going to make Bawumia's work much more difficult. Deal with it decisively before you leave. Akufo-Addo has done nothing. He has, and people turn around and accuse the people of Bawku of killing themselves. When you have security there, when you have police and military there who have been huge sums of taxpayers' money, is used to maintain them there. What is happening in Bawku is a complete failure of the state to rise up to its responsibilities. It's not about the people in Bawku being barbaric or being lawless. Like my brother said, when you have a criminal act, you expect the police to act. You report to them and you let the police deal with it. But when you report, people get killed and nothing is happening. Nobody is arrested. What option do you leave the people with? So for me, the government to first of all act decisively. They should arrest Seydou Abagri. They should remove him from Bawku. He is
Hello, Reverend. Okay, we seem to have lost Reverend. When we establish contact with him again, we will continue the conversation. But he says government should act decisively by arresting Seydou Abagri and removing him from Bawku. Adib, thank you for your time. The Kusauk people have had their say. Arrest Seydou Abagri, remove him from Bawku. Government should act decisively. Since Akufo-Addo inherited a peaceful Bawku, he must make sure that he also hands over a peaceful Bawku. Adib, given the complexity of this conflict, what measures, from a security analyst point of view or standpoint, can government take to ensure that its actions are perceived as neutral and purely peace-oriented? Hello, Adib. Okay, we have also lost Adi, but in any case, we've had a fruitful conversation on this. We've heard the side of the Kusauk people. They have been very clear about what they expect government to do. They've also given us the history of why all of this conflict started. And at the base of it, they're expecting that government acts decisively. Government must make sure that as it's inherited Bawku, it must also hand over Bawku, the peaceful Bawku it inherited. The presence of Seydou Abagri in Bawku is what is escalating all of this fight. We have just a few days to elections. If this conflict is not brought under control, we do not know how the elections will be held in Bawku. Will it mean that some citizens of Ghana will be disenfranchised? The last time we spoke with A.B.A. Husseini, Honorable A.B.A. Husseini, he said that there's no way an election will not be held in Bawku. An election must be held in Bawku. And everything that must be done to bring this conflict under control must be done. We are hoping that away from the political tones or undertones of this conflict, we'll have a decisive or will have a clear focus on how this conflict will be ended, so that the people of Bawku can also live a very comfortable life. As it stands, Bawku has virtually become a ghost town, with many people leaving the town. Jobs, businesses have come to a standstill because nobody wants to lose their lives. At the moment, some 21 people have died. The last time we spoke with Dr. Krugu, who is a parliamentary aspirant in Bawku for Zebila, if I'm not mistaken, he said that the 21 is just what we hear in the news. It is more than 21. If he's not exaggerating, we should expect about 100 people who have died because of this conflict. We cannot continue to go on this tangent. Something must be done, and must be done now. Adib Sani says that because the people have lost trust in the state, a vicious cycle of violence has been set in motion. We need to truncate this cycle so that we go back to the peaceful Ghana that we all believe and we trust. And that's all on Front Story. We'll do well to bring you more conversations as this issue develops, and we are hoping that it develops in a positive manner rather than in an adverse manner. Thank you for joining us on Front Story. We'll be back soon. Stay with us. Welcome back. Before we move into our next segment, let's see what is on the various news portals. On abcnewsgh.com, Speaker advised to respect the law, and this is coming from a senior lecturer at the Political Science Department of KNUST, Mohammed Abbas. He says Speaker should respect the law. Baumia launches credit scoring system, and minorities' actions could derail public servant salaries, Afenyo Markin warns. And this is on ABC News GH. Let's see what is on My Joy Online. On My Joy Online, GRA has become like a terrorist organization. Al-Hassan Andani critiques the tax regime. Voter statistics will be ready by Monday, and the Electoral Commission says so. Government policies haven't helped the private sector, Daniel Macaulay says so. Let's see what's on City Newsroom. On City Newsroom, Francis Sosu, 4 other MPs introduced bill to abolish tax on betting winnings. Government spends at least 1 million Ghana cedis on each parliamentary recall, Mutala discloses. NDC parliamentary candidate storms Salt FM over alleged defamatory remarks. And stop ranting in the media, bring your concerns to Parliament, Ayariga tells Afenyo Markin. On africanews.com, on the top stories, post-election violence intensifies in Mozambique ahead of the SADC meeting. Morocco's population grows in a decade to reach 36.8 million. And the UK targets Russian mercenaries and military suppliers with new sanctions. And they're also reporting that backlash as Ghana's President Akufo-Addo unveils self-honoring statue. And these are some of the news on the various news portals. For more news, visit our website www.abcnewsgh.com. www.abcnewsgh.com. Up next, sports, the latest in sports. Otto has named his squad. We'll know who made the cut for the squad. Derek Kumiki-Siedu is on hand to give us all of the latest in sports. After that, Eric Melo Cheneboa will bring us Tech Trick. He will bring us Tech Trick. Let's get it.
morning and welcome to the sports segment here on ABC News Ghana. I am Derek Kumiki Siedu, and yes, here at ABC News Ghana, we are your election poll center, your credible election guide. Now let's dive into the world of sports as the head coach of Asante Kotoko, Prosper Nateogum, has assured fans that the team is working tirelessly to recover from their recent poor run of form in the Ghana Premier League. The Porcupine Warriors have failed to win any of their last matches, suffering back-to-back losses in their two most recent outings during the 2024-25 season. Ahead of the Week 10 clash, Coach Ogum expresses concern about the team's struggle while speaking to Kotoko's media team. He admitted that their disappointing performances have been a source of worrying not only for himself but also for the entire squad and technical team. And now the Black Stars are set to begin preparation for the final 2025 African Cup of Nations AFCON qualifier by the opening game on Sunday, November 10, 2024. The team will focus on securing vital points in their bid to qualify for the continental tournament. Players who featured for their club are expected to join the camp on Sunday to kickstart preparation for the upcoming matches. Ghana's penultimate qualifier is scheduled for Friday, November 15, 2024 against Angola. Just 3 days later, the Black Stars will close out their campaign at home, hosting Niger at the Accra Sports Stadium on Monday, November 18, 2024. Currently in third place in Group F with just 2 points from 4 matches, Ghana faces a top challenge to secure qualification. Their trials, second place, Sudan by 5 points and are 10 points behind group leaders Angola. With their fate no longer in their own hand, the Black Stars must win both of their remaining matches whilst relying on Sudan to drop points in order to have any hope of advancing. A single point for Sudan in their final fixtures would extinguish Ghana's chances of reaching the AFCON for the first time in 20 years. Now, Nations FC defender Razak Samson has earned his first call-up to the Black Stars after consistently excelling with Nations FC following his standout performance in the Ghana Premier League. The often reliable and solid centre-back has played 790 minutes across 9 matches this season, anchoring a backline that has helped Nations keep 5 clean sheets. His contribution have been instrumental in pushing Nations FC to second place in the league table. Samson's journey reflects his commitment and resilience. He missed only 3 points last season, making 31 appearances and establishing himself as a key player in the local league. His selection by head coach Otoado comes at a time when Black Stars are focused on securing a place at the 2025 African Cup of Nations. Ghana faced 2 must-win qualifiers against Angola and Niger this month, with their qualification also depending on Sudan's performance in the remaining matches. For Samson, this debut call-up is both a reward and a valuable experience at the national level, positioning him as a potential defensive asset for Ghana's future campaigns. And our Black Stars head coach Otoado on Thursday, November 7, 2024, named his squad for Ghana's final African Cup of Nations 2025 qualifiers against Angola and Niger. The list has 3 players from Ghana Premier League, whilst 2 new faces make a return to the national team after several months out. Thomas Partey, who missed the 2 games against Sudan last month, has not been called up by Ado for the final 2 fixtures of the qualifiers. We have the goalkeepers Atizigi Lawrence, Manaf Nuruddin, Jojo Wolakot, For the defenders, Alidu Seidu, Tariq Lamte, Jonas Ajete, Nathaniel Ajay, Alexander Jiku, Jerome Opoku, Gideon Mensah, Isaac Afo, Razak Samson. For the midfielders, we have Elisha Owusu, Abudu Francis, Ibrahim Sulemana, Beidou, Michael Kudus Muhammad, Emmanuel Enchi. For attackers, we have Ibrahim Usman, Nuama Ernest Semenyo Antoine, Jordan Ayu, Inaki Williams, Fatawu Isahaku, Joseph Pentel.
With every chant and cheer, we'll rise up tonight. Oh, Black Stars, bring the glory home. In the land of our fathers, we're never alone. From Accra to Sudan, we'll fight side by side. With courage and pride, in our hearts we confide. The drums are a-thumping, the flag's waving high. We've waited so long, now it's time to fly. With every goal scored, our dreams take flight. Together we stand in this magical night. Oh, Black Stars, bring the glory home. In the land of our fathers, we're never alone. From Accra to Sudan, we'll fight side by side. With courage and pride, in our hearts we confide. Drums are a-thumping, the flag's waving high. We've waited so long, now it's time to fly. With every goal scored, our dreams take flight. Together we stand in this magical night. Oh, Black Stars.
Well, Black Stars face Angola on November 15th before hosting Niger at the Accra Sports Stadium 3 days later. Well, Black Stars head coach Otuado has caused a stir by leaving out star midfielder Thomas Partey from his squad for the upcoming 2025 African Cup of Nations AFCON qualifiers. When asked about the decision, Ado described Partey's exclusion as confidential, offering no further explanation. It's confidential, Ado remarked when pressed about the midfielder's omission, indicating that he simply did not extend an invitation to Partey.
Sometimes football is like this: you can play good and you lose. Sometimes you can even play bad and you can get a point and you can win. And at the end, surely we all want to win. And I wish we would have played bad and we would have won, but it was more the other way around, especially in our home games. And there's so many small margins which can decide a game. You know? And I understand this question, but it's, for me, it's not about their ability that they can score. It's about maybe to bring them in a mental stage, and this is not only my responsibility.
Well, we all hope to qualify for the AFCON 2025. And that's how we wrap up the sports segment here on ABC in the morning. For more sports updates, please follow our website at www.abcnewsgh.com. I am Derek Kumi Kisiedu.
to the Tech Trade segment here on ABC in the morning. I am Eric Chinebo Melo, and it's time to do some tech news. Now, our focus today is how to detect if your computer is hacked or is about to be getting hacked. So criminals and cyber criminals are constantly on the lookout for opportunities to infiltrate your devices and of course get access to your personal information and even take control of your digital life. So it's a real concern. It is very, very concerned. So in today's connected world and wild of some hacking attempts, it can be also be a downright dangerous for your personal device. Others are more of an quite some annoyance, but still some of you want to deal with this before. So let's actually get into it and its importance and also understand the broader context of personal data security. So hackers no longer need to go after your personal device directly. Apparently they want to target your companies or computers. You can trust that they have so many ways of hacking into your system. So we're asking, how do you know if your computer has been hacked? It's easy. So if you suspect that your computer has been compromised, here are the most tellable signs to watch out for. So if you have your personal computers or perhaps you have your phones with you, you're not so sure exactly what's happening, especially with you that always get a lot of emails pop up on your phone, it means that you have to be careful. So the first step to actually watch out for is when you start getting unexpected pops up of ads. So if you suddenly see an influx of pop-ups or ads, especially ones that bypass your browsers, usually ads blocker, this could indicate that a malware hacker is actually generating on your phone. But it's also a signal of deep vulnerabilities in your system. So in as much as we will be talking about the hacking system here and there, it could be on your vulnerability part of your side. So the first time you saw these, you didn't pay so much attention to it, so you feel like it was just a normal thing. It means that you are being so vulnerable about these. Well, let's move on to the second one. So if you see a slow performance and an unusual behavior on your device, be it your phone or your personal computer or laptop, all of a sudden your device starts to be slowing down in performances and unexplainably it also crashes or application freezes here and there, it is a sign of an unauthorized program running in your background. Or perhaps hackers often install malicious software in the mine's data of your resource, likely to also compromise your system. So that also should be a signal to be on the watch out or lookout for if you see these things happen on your phone or perhaps your laptop or computer. Then again, unfamiliar programs or files. Now this one is quite relative because most of us do see a lot of files pop up on our phones. In fact, some of you get a lot of files. I don't know how to explain better for you to understand, but files meaning that you actually see a link, you click on it and it's a whole file. So if you notice software or files that you didn't download or install your personal self, your computer could be infected with a Trojan or other malicious codes. So not anything that you see on your device or laptop, like a link you click, you should not be in a hurry to click on it. It could be one dangerous means of hacking or tracking your system to actually make it very, very slow on your device and all of that. But it's very also important that you be on the watch out. So hackers often modify these settings to maintain control over your device or spy on your activity. Interesting mechanism these hackers often have been using. Now, let me also add that an unusual activities in your account can also be a sign that your account, especially your laptop or phones, is on the verge of being hacked. So if you find emails in your outbox that you didn't send, or strange activities in your online account such as your password reset request or logins from unfamiliar locations, it could be a sign that your computer has been hacked. And your credentials also could be compromised. So yes, you're getting a lot of emails from your mail. You know yourself that you have not even sent a message via your email to any other platform, but you're always receiving messages that you have sent a message. You also receiving messages that this person has sent you a message. It means that somebody has hacked into your system and perhaps is negotiating whatsoever with your personal account. Then again, security software warning. So pay attention to alerts from your antivirus or security software. Now, while these warnings aren't always related to the full system hack, they can flag suspicious activities that could lead to more severe and issues if not addressed. So in all, what we're trying to say that it's very important to prevent or have an idea about what to expect with these hacking systems. So having a robust system will help you prevent or aid, let me just say, not even allow these hackers to even try to even prioritize your device, let alone think of hacking it. So even if you're an organization, your database system actually is very, very much important. These days, we have a lot of cyber activities happening that individuals mostly don't even pay attention to. So if you're a company, your system actually must be very, very paramount to you, especially with the kinds of things that you use to secure your privacy. In all of this, hacking is more than just a hassle. So victims of identity fraud, for example, may find themselves dealing with negative impact on their credit ratings and so forth. Now, what we're trying to say that in our next discussion later, when we do join you on Tech Trick to engage about this particular conversation again, we will try to also look about what harsh reality of data security is. But until then, let's just end today's episode. We brought you today. I am Eric Chinebo Melo, and ABC in the Morning continues shortly after this.
For our most vulnerable citizens. From expanding school meal programs, enrolling 300,000 more people in the LEAP initiative, enhancing healthcare for expectant mothers, we've strengthened the fabric of our society. But our work isn't done. We are committed to further enhancing these programs and introducing new initiatives to ensure that every Ghanaian has the opportunity to thrive. Vote for progress. Vote for care. Vote for Bawumia. Bawumia means business.
Over 5 million children have benefited from free SHS. Protect free SHS. Vote Dr. Bawumia, #1 on the ballot.
You're welcome back. ABC in the morning, live on ABC News GH. Up next is Business Fix. Today on Business Fix, we are asking you a question and we want you to call in and let us know your answer. Is your business profitable? In this current economy, when you buy to sell, do you make any profit on it? Are you seeing any money on the business you are running? You've started a small scale venture, you are into a certain business, any kind of business. Are you making any profits? At the end of the month, are you able to break even? If you have workers, are you able to pay them their wages? If you are the sole owner and sole worker, do you see any profit from the work you are doing? Call us on 053-916-1609 and tell us if your business is making any profit. We want to hear from you. Today also we will open the phone lines when we get to the Ghana Speaks segment. On Ghana Speaks today, we will be asking you about all that is happening in Parliament. Yesterday, Speaker re-adjourned Parliament indefinitely. We want to find out your views. So when it's time for Ghana Speaks, we'll open the phone lines again and look forward to hearing from you. But now you can call us on 053-916-1609 and tell us if your business is making a profit. Maybe you sell second-hand goods, you sell some coconut, you have a small pub you're running. Are you making any profit from your business? The tariffs, the water tariffs, the electricity tariffs, are you able to make any money? All of your money goes back into paying bills. Tell us, is the economic climate a viable one for your business? Is your business able to survive in the economic climate, or you are just pushing through just so you have something to do day in and day out? Call us on 053-916-1609. We really want to hear from you on this. On ABC News GH, you are reminded that because of the elections, we are bringing you the Poll Center. The Poll Center is where you get all of your credible information on these elections. And on the Poll Center, we say vote, not violence. Don't allow yourself to be used as a tool for violence during the elections. So place emphasis on your votes. And with barely 30 days to the elections, know that every week we will come to your constituency to broadcast the ABC in the morning from your constituency. Look out for us in your constituency. And when you see us, draw closer to us and let's have a conversation about Ghana, especially as we get into the elections. Who are you voting for? To be your MP? To be the president of the country? Just let us know. But at the moment, we are waiting to hear from you on 053-916-1609. Is your business profitable? You sell in the market. When you go to the market and you come back home and you count your money, do you see any improvement? Do you think you can pay your suppliers? Are you able to make any profits on your business to take care of your family? Is your business profitable? Let's hear from you. We are really looking forward to hearing from you. Maybe you're like the woman who is selling some items in the market. You sell wele, you sell some cabbages, some other vegetables. Are you making money? When you get to the market, you have to sit there the whole day until one person comes. Or your business is booming. If your business is booming, let us know. Tell us what you are doing to make your business booming. Is it that government has put in place structures that is helping your business boom? We want to hear from you whether your business is profitable. What business do you think if you entered at the moment, you'd make more money? Have you seen a certain venture that you think that is where the money is coming from? So you'd like to stop what you are doing at the moment and then focus on that. Call us 053-916-1609. Many polls that have been conducted have shown that this year's elections will be, many people will take their decisions on the elections based on the economy, how the economy is affecting them. So for you, You may be making so much money on your business, so the economy is affecting you very positively. So because of that, you are going to vote in a certain direction. For another, the economy has adversely affected them so much so that they can't run their business as they used to. So they'll be voting in a certain angle. Tell us, if 1,000 cedis could get you a basket of tomatoes last year, are you still able to buy a basket of tomatoes at 1,000 cedis this year? Are you even able to buy? Maybe that 1,000 cedis is allowing you to buy more. Week on week, when you go to town, do the prices of things change? The commodities on the market, do you always have to go and bargain for a lower price? How is it for you? Is your business profitable? Let us know on 053 916 1609. 053 916 1609. We would love to hear from you on your business, whether your business is profitable or not. You can also send us a text on 053 916 1609. Get in touch with us via socials. The handle is at ABC News GH _ at ABC News GH _ and tell us whether you are making any money on your business or not. Have you decided to start a side hustle but you are skeptical? Let us know. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Good morning. My name is Kwabena Sante. I'm calling from Takwa.
Hello, Kwabena Sante. Do you run any business?
I don't own a business, but I assist my mother with her venture.
Okay, what does she do?
Well, she sells tomatoes and cabbages at the market.
All right. Kwabena Sante, since you assist your mom, is she making any profit on the business?
Well, for profit, the way things are pretty difficult, because even the small profit that she's able to make off from selling her vegetables and tomatoes, sometimes when she goes to, bring in the goods, she ends up running at a loss because the small profit margins. When he gets to the wholesale or when he goes to pick the things, you would realize that the prices at the other end have increased. And so the small profit that she earns, she uses it again to go and get more goods. So things are hard.
Things are hard.
Yes.
Because things are hard, will you be voting based on how things are hard?
Oh, I'll be voting based on the economic circumstances as well.
Okay. Thank you, Kwabena Sante.
Thank you.
Kwabena Sante says he helps his mother with her tomato business. She sells tomatoes and cabbages. But things are hard. So the profit is basically negligible. Is that the same for you? Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Good morning. My name is Jalil, calling from in the Upper West region.
Hello, Jalil. Do you run a business?
Please, I'm a keke driver.
You're a keke driver. Okay.
Yes,
do you make any profits on your tricycle?
Oh, nowadays it's just work and buy fuel.
You work to buy fuel?
Yes, please.
So you don't make any money at all?
Yes, please. Maybe you buy fuel 100 cedis. By the time you get the 100 cedis, the fuel will finish. Then you have to go and refuel again.
So how are you surviving?
Well, maybe the small that we get, maybe at least after the 100 cedis fuel finish, you will get some 20 cedis.
So every day is only 20 cedis you make after you have worked the whole day. Hello, Jalil.
Yes, please.
So you are saying that it's only 20 cedis you make after you have worked the whole day?
Yes, please. And the funniest thing is that you have to make 50 cedis sales every day.
To who?
To the owner of the keke.
Oh, so the keke is also not for you?
Yes, please.
So at the end of the day, you are running at a loss?
Yes, please.
Oh, that's rather unfortunate.
Yes.
Are you married? Do you have a wife and children?
No, please.
Okay,
I'm just SS graduate.
Oh, you're an SS graduate. So what?
Yes, please.
Are you doing this work in order to further your education?
Yes, please.
Oh, it's rather unfortunate. We hope that your business picks up so that you can make some profit to be able to go to school. Thank you for calling us, Jaleo. Jaleo from WA. He says that at the end of the day, he has to go and render an account to the owner of the tricycle of 50 cedis. But at the end of the day, he's only making 20 cedis after working the whole day. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from? Hello?
Hello.
Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Kofi. Hello? My name is Kofi from Kutunke.
Kofi, do you run a business?
Yes, I do.
Which business do you run?
It more has to do with estate development.
Estate development, okay. Are you making any profits from this estate development business?
Oh, we are not making profit because people even buy and they have to pay in installments.
Hello, Kofi. Please turn down the volume of your TV so that you can hear us in real time.
Yes.
Hello, Kofi. Please turn down the volume of your TV.
Yes, I have done that.
Okay. You're saying that you are not making any profits on your estate business.
Because, yes, people normally pay by installment, and they end up defaulting and things. So by the time you realize, before you even collect your money, the purchasing power of the money is gone down. And so it's something. But we know the problem, the economic problem in the country. It is not here alone. It is everywhere, all over the world. We are not living in good times. But whatever it is, we are trying to make inroads. Okay. And I know we hope for good times to come.
Okay. So will you be voting based on your economic situation? Some have said that on 7 December they are going to vote based on the economic situation they are living in. Are you going to make a decision?
Definitely, I'll vote. I'll vote. And I have to vote for this president, for Bawumia, because he has solutions to problems. We are talking about issues. And he has the solutions to these problems. Even despite the fact that the government, we are living in a hard time, government is doing some projects and other things, coming with interventions and doing this, SHS, this thing. It is marvelous. And we know that there are better times ahead. When then another government comes, you tell you, they've spoiled everything already. And then so we have to go back.
Thank you, Kofi.
Yeah, we should allow him to continue.
All right. Kofi from Kuntunse says that the economic situation is not just in Ghana, it's all over the world. Hello, your name and where you're calling from? Hello? Okay. You can call us. Let's take some last 2 calls and then we'll be done with this conversation. Call us on 053-916-1609. And the question is your business profitable? Are you making any money off your business? Is it a hand-to-mouth business you're running at the moment? At the end of the day, are you able to tell the money you receive? Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from? Hello? Okay. You can still call us and then we will take your submission too. Hello, your name and where you're calling from?
Hello, my name is Kamal.
Please turn down the volume of your TV set so that we can have a good discussion.
Yeah, my name is Kamal.
Kamal, where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Kanda.
Kanda. Kamal,
yes.
Do you run a business?
Yes, I'm a force dealer.
A force?
Yes, I buy force and sell.
Okay. Are you making any profits on your force?
Okay, I'm talking about force, not phone.
Are you talking about mobile phones or second-hand clothing?
No, second-hand.
Yes,
second-hand
on
clothing.
your force. Yes.
Yes.
Do you make any profits on your second-hand business, your second-hand clothing business?
Oh, okay. I can see it's okay, but it will depend on your hardness. It will depend on the way you go about selling your things. When you are lazy, when you put lazy into it, definitely the result will not be good. But if you approach people, you greet people, you approach them, you go to them. Sometimes somebody will know you don't want to buy, but the way you approach the person will at least have something to buy from you.
Come on, where do you sell your phones?
My phones, I go around with it.
Okay.
I don't stay at one place.
Okay.
And I think it's okay because at least you get something out of it. And then you see, you don't have to spend all. Sometimes somebody will go around after in the evening, you see him going to beer bar. The profit that he gets, you go and spend everything. Then the same person will come back and start complaining. But the economic situation across the world, you yourself, nobody should tell you. You have to make it yourself, not anyone.
Okay. At the end of the day, how much do you make every day?
Every day, on the average, I make at least 150.
150 cedis.
Yes.
Do you have a family or you are a single man?
No, I'm a family man of 3. Yes.
You, your wife, and your child?
Yes.
Okay. And the little money you get, the 150 every day, is able to cater for the whole family?
Oh, okay. My wife to do something. So at least we help each other.
Okay. When you say 150, means that at least at the end of the week, if you are working 5 days in a week, you make about some 750 cedis every week.
Sometimes it will not get, because when you buy, you have to go back. You have to go back to market and replace what you've sold. And then that you end up eating.
Okay. But Kamal, you are saying that to make the profit is just about how hardworking you should be.
Exactly so. Okay. Exactly so. Because the way the world is going now, it's hard. You shouldn't have to depend on the government. The government is also playing its part. Okay. And we can all, you see, what I want to say is that the all might of America is complaining about economy. America, dollar, is complaining about economy challenges. So how much more Ghana? They have their fuel, their everything, their gas, everything, but they are still complaining. And we don't have it.
Kamal, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Kamal from Kanda. Kamal says he deals in second-hand clothing. He says he's making profit. At least a day he can make 150 cedis. He says that you shouldn't anchor the challenges on the economy because it is a global issue. You have to be hard-working. So for Kamal, he is making a profit. For another, they may not be making a profit. But thank you for calling us to share your thoughts on this. Is your business profitable? We will expand this conversation the more and come to you with the conversation. Let's see how the economy has worked in your favor or not. But that's it for Business Fix this morning. Up next, we get into our main discussion. Stay with us. welcome back into our main discussion for today. NPP MPs accuse Speaker of conniving with the NDC caucus, and they have threatened to cite him for contempt of courts. All this is because of yesterday. What happened? Vacant seat impasse. There is an impasse in Parliament. Parliament again has been adjourned indefinitely because NPP MPs failed to show up in Parliament yesterday. And yesterday, Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, once again adjourned the House indefinitely after members of Parliament from the New Patriotic Party failed to attend the session. The Speaker announced that without the presence of the NPP MPs, the House could not meet the quorum needed to make decisions. Besides, there was no business before the House, thus preventing any legislative action from taking place. The absence of the NPP MPs from Parliament came as a setback for the anticipated emergency sitting, which had been convened to address pressing national issues. Speaker Alban Bagbin expressed disappointment over the situation, highlighting that the absence of the NPP members rendered the session ineffective and forced the indefinite adjournment of Parliament. Meanwhile, the majority of MPs led by its leader, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, has strongly criticized Speaker Alban Kingsford Bagbin's decision to adjourn Parliament indefinitely, calling it an act that amounts to supervising chaos and undermines the integrity of Ghana's democratic processes. Afenyo-Markin clarified that the NPP caucus's absence was not due to negligence or irresponsibility, but rather a procedural dispute. He explained that the Clerk of Parliament had failed to print the necessary documentation, specifically the agreed-upon order paper, which outlines the issues and agenda items for discussion in Parliament. The failure to print the order paper, according to Afenyo-Markin, was a critical factor that prevented the NPP from engaging in parliamentary proceedings. Without the document, the session could not proceed as planned, leaving the NPP unable to participate. The NPP MPs have vowed to cite Speaker Alban Bagbin for contempt following his decision to adjourn Parliament indefinitely for the second time. Meanwhile, the NDC MPs have expressed worry about the NPP MPs' absence from Parliament as they summoned the House. The leader of the NDC caucus, Kaysel Atuforsen, urged Ghanaians to vote out the NPP for their lackadaisical behavior towards parliamentary business. We will bring you the various reactions from the two caucuses in Parliament. Let's take a watch.
And so what I said, it's a sort of question of acknowledgement. It's a question of implementation of the decision of the ruling is being overset. And you forcing me to repeat myself so many times. The Supreme Court is spoken. We want the decision of the Supreme Court to be respected.
The Speaker acknowledged the ruling of the Supreme Court the last time he did. 2 weeks ago, he said with copies of the
and so what I said, it's a sort of question of acknowledgement. It's a question of implementation of the decision of the Supreme Court.
None of the MPs have been blocked. None of the 4 MPs have been blocked from coming to Parliament. None of them have come here and they've been blocked from accessing the Chamber of Parliament.
You are not listening.
They still have
you are not listening. I think I'm going to have to say this for the last time because it looks like some of you have become listen to this. The Speaker made a ruling. It was unconstitutional. It was unlawful. By any account, it was illegal. The Supreme Court, contrary to the assertion by he himself and some members of the minority who keep proclaiming from a high root and high heaven, that the Parliament is a master of its own rules and regulations. The Supreme Court is told the public and Parliament that you are not. There is an institution which is the master of the rules of Parliament, and that this is what the law is. That you cannot make the decision
the proclamation that you made. I call it proclamation because you think he's a king, he's whatever, he's a lord of the stuff. But you made a ruling. It is not right. Supreme Court is telling you it is not right. Go back to for the speaker to respect the ruling of the Supreme Court. Come back to this rather than continuously agenda.
Was it wrong in 2021?
He is disrespecting the ruling. The speaker has made a ruling barring them from coming to the parliament. Supreme Court is reversed it. It is for the speaker to sit up there and tell the House that his decision has been reversed, and so how will it be reversed if you are not sitting? Again, I'm saying that you either want to take leave of your senses or you listen to what I am saying. If you are not prepared to listen to what I'm saying and just listen to your own voices, you are not going to get anywhere. Look at the policy of Congress. Everybody is listening, but we don't seem to be listening and concentrating on what I'm saying. It is not a question of our presence in there or not. It is for the speaker. If it is only about 100 people who are coming to the room there, minority and the majority will constitute the composition of the House in its entirety. Which number comes in there, provided that we have enough to constitute business of to constitute the House and then start business of the House, we should do it. So even if we had 99, if it's 1/10 of what to form the quorum, it was for the speaker to make the announcement in the House that
I decided not to talk, but what I saw at the conference center when I was coming, I've been treating you, I'm pleading with you to be very objective. You see, taking entrenched position to support a political party will not help this country. And if you know the power of the media, if you do your work well, the respect you earn, I'm begging you, you are jeopardizing your position in society because of the way some of you politicize issues, and it won't help this country. We all want to move forward. I personally don't care whoever wins, so long as we have a peaceful country that you can breathe. I've been to war-torn countries and I know the sufferings some people are going through. That is why I don't preach for war. If not, I would have also encouraged whatever going on. I want to be the faith of the country. Today I shouted at my young man because he asked me a question, why are you running away? How can I run away? Let me tell you what actually happened this morning, which the leader did not address. He saw me going to I even entered the chamber. We were at the caucus meeting. So we took a decision that, look, go with the leadership, engage the speaker and the NDC people, then we go in, because we heard they are sitting on our side, which is the right-hand side of the speaker. So go and engage the speaker. Unfortunately, when we got there, they were sitting. That is why we returned. Not that I was running away. And we couldn't stop the proceedings. So it's not deliberate that MPP refused. We needed to engage the speaker. I'm not the leadership. I'm not one of them. But they respect my opinion. And I know Speaker is my friend. Before I even came to Parliament, he was my company lawyer. So I give him that respect. And sometimes I go to him and share ideas. So they say this time, go to your man.
When you sit here another time,
I think it's important that we recognize as a country that the three co-equal organs of government perform distinct and separate functions and must respect the mandate, power and authority of the other. The matter before us may border on constitutional interpretation depending upon who invokes the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. But clearly, what is before us, given precedent, is a matter that the position, which in my view solely belongs to the High Court as a forum on whether or not to declare But those of you who have studied Article 97 well, you must read the text well. The text reads, a member shall vacate his seat. Simple. A member shall vacate his seat. The onus is on that member. I'm not even too sure whether it's for the speaker to declare that seat. It says a member shall vacate his seat if he. And when you read the he, I have read from persons in government, even from the learned Attorney General, seeking to talk about the future. The provisions in Article 97 does not only talk about the future, it talks about the past. When it uses the word, if he was elected, it didn't say if he is elected, if he was elected. And for me, I haven't revised my constitutional law lately, particularly the use of the interpretation as I should. But basically, give words their ordinary common sense. It is only when the ordinary common sense leads to absurdity that you look for your secondary. I do not see how the text in Article 97 can be compromised. More importantly, many of you will recall.
When you sit another chance,
I think it's a
So that's from Parliament. You heard some of the MPs speaking. Speaker has adjourned Parliament indefinitely again. Before yesterday's reconvening of Parliament, Speaker had a press conference the day before. Some have said that the posturing of Speaker during that press conference goes to suggest that he's set in his ways. He's not going to back down from his decision. We'll see what that means for Parliament. We'll see what that means for our democracy to us people. We have barely 30 days to the elections. Should these things be resolved once and for all so that we can move on? The whole issue about where to sit, who is majority, who is a minority, the questions, although the same, you always see new developments from this issue. I don't think anybody believed that yesterday Speaker was going to adjourn Parliament again. And I also don't think anybody thought that yesterday the NPP would not be in Parliament. Speaker himself has said that we are not in a constitutional crisis. That's what he has said, that we are not in a constitutional crisis, that he must be allowed to do his work. Others don't agree with him. Some others don't agree with him at all. Yesterday when we spoke with Abbas Mohammed, political scientist and senior lecturer at the KNUST, he said that Speaker should respect the law. He believes that Speaker has not respected the law at all. Others think that Speaker is well within his rights to do what he is doing. In any case, some MPs took up the matter. They said that they were invoking Article 97, and Speaker, per his rights, said that he declared some seats vacant. Now, the NPP side of Parliament took the matter to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court stayed the execution of Speaker's statements. Then, Speaker also asked his lawyers to write back to the court. Went back to the Supreme Court, then Supreme Court was still insistent on what they had already ruled on. Now, the question is Supreme Court dabbling in the affairs of Parliament? Where are the issues about, where is the case of being independent on its own the various arms of government. So that's where the conversations have been coming from. The Supreme Court is interfering in Parliament and or. Yesterday when we spoke with the Communications Director for Parliamentary Network Africa, Clement Akolo, he said that Speaker's press conference was just to set the record straight, and that it was very necessary that Speaker had that press conference yesterday. And for him, he says that the whole thing is judiciary, do your interpretation, allow Speaker to also do his work. Is that actually the case? Is that the case? Judiciary, do your interpretation, Speaker, also do your work. Where does the where do we see where do we see things coming together? Well, so many conversations on that. We would have to better understand what is happening, and we'll be speaking with a constitutional lawyer to help us with the conversation. Lawyer Kwame Adofo is a private legal practitioner and a constitutional lawyer. Good morning, lawyer. Thank you for joining us.
Having me.
Hello, sir. Lawyer Kwame Adofo.
Yes, can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Sir, I take it you can hear me. I'm unable to hear you at the moment.
Oh, so I'm sorry, but my mic is on.
Okay.
So,
let's go on with the conversation. The sound will get better as we move on. Adofo, we've had various conversations with you right from when this issue about invoking Article 97 started. This is how far we have come. Speaker has again indefinitely adjourned Parliament. Where are we heading to with this stalemate in Parliament and Speaker's insistence that the judiciary should stay clear of parliamentary proceedings? Where are we heading to?
Look, we are heading to the road of nowhere, and I use the road of nowhere because we are just not going to go anywhere. This is not a very big matter. It's a very simple matter that can easily be resolved by the Speaker. It's very simple. The reason why I'm saying the Speaker is the only one who can resolve it is because the Speaker went to Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has given a ruling. Now it's up to the Speaker to communicate his ruling to the members of Parliament. Full stop. And that will resolve this matter as a matter of urgency. Because now, because one side of the political divide, i.e. the NEC, has made it absolutely clear that they only listen to their Speaker. They don't have any direct communication with the Supreme Court, which is correct. Supreme Court hasn't communicated to the NDC. I agree. But the Supreme Court has in fact communicated with the Speaker. And therefore, the Speaker should, as a matter of urgency, announce to the parties that by virtue of the position of the Supreme Court, his decision of 17 October no longer holds. That will effectively resolve this matter. Everybody will just go home and be happy. In my view, the Supreme Court even gave the Speaker an opportunity, like a room, to be able to, like an outlet, to be able to resolve this matter. All the Speaker has to do is that, look, in light of the decision of the Supreme Court, we now are back in where we were before 17th October. And therefore, those seats that I declared as vacant are now not vacant, pending the Supreme Court's final determination of the matter. That will effectively resolve this matter once and for all. I'm just surprised that the Speaker hasn't been bold enough to make that decision. He doesn't have any other choice because that's what the Supreme Court has said. And when the Supreme Court speaks, we may not like it, all of us all the time like it. But once they've spoken, that is the end of the matter.
Well, lawyer, Speaker said that the courts are ignorant of issues of proceedings in Parliament. Could this be the basis for which he's dragging his feet or has taken his position?
Maybe. But the Speaker is clearly wrong. Speaker is absolutely clearly wrong in the sense that the President doesn't have the power to do just about anything he likes. Equally, Parliament doesn't have the right to just do whatever he likes. And I know that he cited Articles 115, 116 as giving them absolute immunity to do whatever they like. Well, it is true that the Constitution gives them the power to debate vigorously without fear of being served with any summons. True. But after they've reached a decision, their decision is amenable to the Constitution if it's found to have flouted the Constitution. And that then kicks in the Supreme Court. Whose job is it to interpret this Constitution? The answer is clearly the Supreme Court. Therefore, Parliament need to understand that even though we say it's a master of justice, its decisions are not final. It's still subject to whether or not it's legal per the Constitution. Again, the presidency, they would love to exercise the power in some states. However, the Constitution also makes it mandatory that whatever they do should be in line with the law. That is why Dom Levo's case, the Supreme Court has held that the president has no power.
Ladofo, we are joined by Honorable Murtala Muhammad, the MP for Tamale Central. Let's also have a conversation with him, and then I'll come back to you, sir.
No problem.
Honorable Murtala Muhammad, you're welcome to ABC in the morning. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me, and good morning to my colleague Adada Sadia.
Honorable, why did the NDC caucus sit on the right side of Speaker yesterday when there's a clear ruling from the Supreme Court that stays the execution of Speaker's vacation of the seats? Of Speaker's declaration of the vacation of seats?
First and foremost, Parliament is not an extension of the Supreme Court. And those who have argued that the Supreme Court directive should automatically be adhered to, I think they are making a very big mistake. The Supreme Court has an exclusive jurisdiction to interpret laws. Afenyo didn't go to court asking the Supreme Court to interpret any law. Afenyo didn't go to court asking the Supreme Court to determine whether the ruling of Speaker Baldwin was legal or not. Afenyo didn't go to court to do that. The Supreme Court cannot be seeking to direct Parliament as how Parliament works. That's the first point. And let me also state, and I urge my other colleagues to go and read the writings of Professor Montesquieu, John Locke and Co. on the basis of separation of powers, checks and balances. I have heard some communication as though the judiciary is more important than the legislative arm. That is completely misleading. In separation of powers, each of the three arms are supposed to have equal powers, such that they can check each other to the extent that one arm may not abuse the power that is given to it by the people of this country. That is the first point. As a matter of fact, in a democracy, Parliament is even more important than the judiciary. And I'll give you the reasons. You can have a military dictatorship, which is still a government, with the military leadership who constitute the government, the executive, and the judiciary operating. But in a military dictatorship, can you have Parliament? Hello, can you have Parliament in a military dictatorship?
Honorable, educate us on what you are saying.
You cannot have Parliament in a military dictatorship, and that is why when democratic governance or rulership are truncated, the first arm the military junta will attack will be the legislative arm. So what it means is that you can't have democracy without Parliament. Parliament is an essential ingredient as far as democracy is concerned. So in a democracy, the legislature is even more important. More important not as to the powers given to it, at the disadvantage of the other two arms, in this case, the judiciary and the executive. But let's even interrogate one issue very clearly. On Wednesday, and when I say Wednesday, I'm referring to the first Wednesday the Speaker gave his ruling on the matter of the 4 members of Parliament. On Wednesday, before the Speaker gave his ruling on the matter, Afenyo had already gone to court on Tuesday. I want to know, on what basis did the court give him even hearing? That okay, I suspect the Speaker is going to give a ruling on these 4 MPs, and therefore I come to court for you to summon the Speaker. And the writ was handed over to Afenyo. Since when has Afenyo become a bailiff? And Afenyo was seeking to present or to serve the Speaker the writ even before the Speaker gave his ruling. I was in the chamber. That is one curious question that needs serious answers to be serious answers. Now, even the day the Speaker gave his ruling on Wednesday, the next day, Thursday, Afenyo went to court. That is the Thursday when we sat. After the sitting, Afenyo went to court. And everybody knows the proceedings of Parliament cannot be deemed to be an official position of Parliament until it is approved and adopted by the House. And the approval and adoption of proceedings of Parliament is done in the subsequent sittings. So we sat on Tuesday. Friday we didn't sit. On Thursday. Friday we didn't sit. Afenyo went to court on the basis of what happened on Thursday and went there with the hands up, which was not official, which was not approved, which was not adopted, and which was illegally given to Afenyo in the first place. Because the hands up ought to be sanctioned by the Speaker after the proceedings are approved and adopted. Now, why did the court give Afenyo Markins a hearing and went ahead to give the directive they gave on the basis of a document and information that was not official? The Supreme Court could not do even due diligence to determine that, the proceedings on Thursday, because Friday, we didn't sit. Friday, we didn't sit. We sat only the next Tuesday. And when the next Tuesday we sat, there were 3 major amendments to the proceedings on Thursday. So these are questions that people are asking. But let me leave that one aside. What happened what happened yesterday? There is nowhere in the Constitution that says where majority should sit and where minority should sit. There is nowhere. It's just a practice of Parliament that the majority sits on the right-hand side of the Speaker and minority sits on the left-hand side of the Speaker. Go and read. In fact, let me even address this issue before I even come to that. When Afenyo went to court, Afenyo argued on the basis of natural justice. And the Supreme Court ruling, if you read it, they also went on the same tangent that justice was not served to those 4 members of Parliament. So it's an issue of natural justice. Natural justice can only be sought, in this case, by the victims, that is the 4 members of Parliament. But there are cases where a third party, which feels it will be affected by the decision, can go and seek natural justice on behalf of a party rather than it itself, which is a victim. Now, if you look at the members of Parliament, as we see today, by the NPP's own constitution, Article 9, they are no longer members of the NPP. If you read the NPP's constitution, Article 9, that anybody who indeed defects or is contesting as a member of Parliament against an official member of Parliament of the NPP, the membership of that person, as far as the NPP is concerned, it automatically revoked. So those members of Parliament are no longer members of NPP. Afenyo went to court to argue on their behalf in his capacity as who? Because the NPP is no longer directly affected, because they are no longer members of the NPP. But that is even another point. Now let's look at what happened yesterday. Now, I have listened to Afenyo, and clearly he is absolutely ignorant as to the reason why the business committee meets. I heard him, and he said that the reason why he didn't attend the business committee meeting, that it was not necessary because that they knew what the agenda was and the purpose for which this, this recall was made. That was his first statement on the matter. He also said that they initially that they wanted to come to the chamber, and by the time they got to the chamber, the speaker had already adjourned sitting. And you heard what Keith Yamu, the Minister of State, who behaved the manner in which he behaved, what he also said. Why? The business committee, in fact, he also said, and I nearly forgot this, that only they have the capacity to call for a business committee meeting. That's a lie. That is a lie. Business is the business of government. And the majority leader is the leader of government business in parliament. He brings business. But he cannot bring business without the approval or the consensus of the other side of the house and the speaker and his clerk. Now, if you listen to Afenyo, he said that the NDC cannot call for a business committee. Neither can the speaker call for a business committee meeting. That it is only the majority, in this case, he still describes himself as the majority leader, that they can call for a business committee meeting. That is so ignorant. Assuming you call for a business committee meeting, and the other side of the house, the NDC decides not to attend, the speaker and the clerk decides not to attend, can you have a business committee meeting? That is so ignorant coming from a person like Afenyo Martin. Let me make this point. Let me make this point, please. The purpose for the business committee meeting, one, is for consensus building. And two, for some amendments, if there need be, to be made on the business that is supposed to be tabled in the House for the week. So you can have the reasons why this recall is made. When you go to the business committee, there can be adjustments, and there have always been adjustments and amendments at the business committee meeting. In some instances, government will bring a business. At the business committee meeting, they will remove some and add some. So that is one. Two, the purpose for the business committee is to inform members of parliament, rather than just the leadership, that look, this is the business we are going to take for the week. And therefore, the discussions at the business committee meeting will be captured in the order paper. In the order paper. The order paper will then be circulated among members of parliament. Third point, the reason why the business committee meeting is not only necessary but essential. So it's for them to determine in order of preference or importance which item comes first, which items comes second, which items we take today, which items we take the next day. Martin's knowing this, to say that he didn't attend the business committee meeting because that they already knew what the agenda was, and therefore there wasn't any need, is the height of naivety. Another point, the speaker, when he came to the chamber, you triggered Article 1123 of the 1992 Constitution and Standing Order 53, which says, among others, that the speaker is enjoined to recall Parliament when at least 15% of members of Parliament demand him and in writing and in signing. They did that. The Speaker did exactly what we asked the Speaker to do. Parliament officially starts sitting at 10 o'clock in the morning, 10. And in the request, sitting was supposed to take place at 10. The sitting of Parliament is carried live on Facebook and in the internet. It is also carried live in our TV stations, TVs in our various, offices in Parliament. Now, as early as 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, some members were there. Honorable Atacha came to the chamber. He came to the chamber around 9 something and left. Now, you didn't come for the meeting. Read Article 102. There is a quorum. There's a quorum for business to commence. But Article 104 talks about a quorum to take decisions. We had a quorum to commence business, but we didn't have a quorum to take decisions. Now, when the speaker sat, you didn't even come. And in that morning, there was a meeting at conclave. The majority leader, the minority leader, and the speaker were all supposed to be seated at conclave. You didn't come. And then the speaker sat there. We had a quorum to commence business. We didn't have a quorum to take decisions. And the speaker did that. And then they go about talking about the speaker is in contempt. Sometimes you listen to some lawyers, you wonder. I am saying that the speaker did no wrong, and we could not have been waiting for them to come at their opportune time. In any case, if you call for Parliament to be recalled, you should be the first person to be in the chamber. You didn't do that. Now you go about shouting and insulting virtually everybody.
Honorable Mutala, in your earlier
Yes.
submission, you mentioned that there's nowhere in the Constitution that states where one caucus should sit. Since this Parliament commenced, you've always sat at the left-hand side of the Speaker. This whole conversation has been about you switching to sit at the right-hand side. How about
First and foremost, even the decision to sit there, mind you, we had to respect the Speaker and listen to the Speaker. And we didn't want to foment trouble. That was the reason why we sat at where we sat. In any case, in this Parliament, we don't have majority, we don't have minority until the ruling is done.
So how about you just sit where
I'm coming, please. It doesn't matter where we always sat. I'm saying that even for us, you remember when this Parliament began, we had problems as to where we were going to sit. Is that not the case? Yes. The very first day, we sat at where the so-called majority sit. Was it not where we sat?
You did.
Was it not where we sat? The Speaker had to talk to us for peace to prevail. President Mahama had to intervene for peace to prevail. And we decided to sit at where we sat. So it is not any different that we sat at where we sat. And two, I heard Afenyo and the MPP commentators. They say, oh, because they didn't want to foment trouble and they didn't want what happened when this Parliament began to happen, the NDC is seeking violence. And Afenyo even said that the Speaker is eating us. I mean, what nonsense. Let me be very clear. What the NDC did on the day the Speaker was elected, we were defending the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. We were defending the standing orders of Parliament. The Constitution and the standing orders have all stated clearly, among others, that in the elections of a Speaker, the voting should be done through a secret ballot. Is that not what the Constitution and the standing order says? The MPP was seeking to have it done openly, and we said no. So between we and the MPP, who was defending the Constitution, and they brought in armed military men into the chamber. Armed military men. That is an affront to our democracy. And I expect people who are commenting to condemn that action. Two, the MPDC never did anything against the Constitution. We were defending the Constitution. And look, even if it means using violence to defend this Constitution and this democracy, the Constitution even allows us to do so. That you can use any means to defend the Constitution and defend the democracy we are practicing. That was what we did. Today, they are saying that we wanted violence, and that is why they didn't want to give us the opportunity to do so. Between NDC and MPP in this Fourth Republic, who has demonstrated the penchant for violence? Or they want us to look at the political history of their tradition, the UP tradition, a tradition my grandfather was one of the founding fathers. They want us to look at how violent this tradition has been. Yet they come and they talk about political party that is fomenting trouble, that is seeking violence. Your party was built out of violence. War drums were beat. War songs were sung when the UP tradition, when the UP was formed. And unfortunately, my grandfather was one of those who formed the UP tradition. So let no one try to play the victim here.
Okay.
Don't play the victim.
Honorable, we have lawyer Kwame Adofo on the conversation. Let me take lawyer's stance too, and I'll come back to you. Lawyer Kwame Adofo, you've heard what Honorable Murtala Mohammed has said. He says that anybody who says that they will cite Speaker for contempt is not speaking from the right side at all. Do you agree with him? Can Speaker be cited for contempt based on how far the conversation has come?
Let me greet the honorable member and say to him that whatever is happening, at the end of the day, they should think about the country. They have few weeks left, and there are serious business to be done, including their own end-of-service benefits, ex gratia, that they need to take home. So I think they should find a way to resolve this. Now, back to the question. Your question was whether the Speaker can be cited for contempt.
Right.
Is that correct?
Right, sir.
Look, my position is, it's not even necessary for us to even think of that, because the Speaker is the head of the legislature, and people like that he's actually number 3 on the list of leadership in this country. So we should not even get to the stage where somebody will start talking about contempt of our leaders. It's not nice. Our leaders are supposed to respect and obey and abide by whatever the law says. In my view, the Speaker himself went to Supreme Court, and I was listening to the honorable member. Clearly, he's very angry, very livid, but that's not where we are. That's not what we need. What we need is, how do we resolve this impasse that we find ourselves in? Now, the Speaker went to Supreme Court, and he sought to vacate the orders that were made previously by the Supreme Court. That being the case, Supreme Court has now ruled and come out with certain orders. Now, the Speaker then has to now officially or formally communicate the orders made by the Supreme Court to the members of Parliament. And that in itself will resolve this once and for all, because the effect of the decision of the Supreme Court is that the orders that were made, or the declaration that was made by the Speaker on the 17th of October, no longer holds. And therefore, the status quo ante, which is what existed before, is now the current position of the law. This is just a simple matter.
Lawyer
And I
Dofo,
understand that. Yes.
Honorable Mutala said that the judiciary erred by listening to, or he says that, why did the court give a directive on a document that was not official? The document that Honorable Afenyo-Markin sent to the Supreme Court was not an official document. So that the Supreme Court did not do due diligence on the work, on the documents that came. And so in any case, they erred in their decision they took. Don't you believe that?
Yes. Yeah, no, look, I have been on the side of Supreme Court making certain decisions that I'm very unhappy. I've been there before, several times. But the position we have in this country is, even when you believe that the decision is in error, you have to obey it. That is the current position. And my honorable brother knows that. Even when you know that the Supreme Court erred, you don't sit and say, it's in error, so I'm not going to obey it. You don't do that. Your job is, you have to obey it until you have set that judgment or orders aside. That is how we do. So I don't sit in my chamber and say, this judgment or ruling of the court is in error, and therefore I'll not obey it. No. The position is that any judgment, orders, even when in your eyes you think it's void, you have to follow ex parte affoda.
Okay.
So it means, even if what my learned honorable member is saying is true, that the Supreme Court committed various errors, fine. Now, were they canvassed by their lawyer, by Speaker's lawyer when he was in court? Did he put forward those errors to the Supreme Court? If he didn't, then why is he now raising those arguments now? Okay. Conversely, if he did, and the Supreme Court still overruled it, the position of the law is, whatever current ruling there is from the Supreme Court is the law.
Is the law.
And he has no other than to follow it until the Supreme Court changes its mind.
All right.
Which you correctly put me, that is the Supreme Court is able to change its ruling anytime it wants. Yes. But until it's changed, you don't sit in your somewhere, so to speak, and say, look, I'm not going to obey those laws. You don't do that. If you do that, then you are bringing a situation where there is anarchy prevailing, and which we don't want. I think back to the way forward, I think this matter can only be resolved by the Speaker himself. All he has to do is announce to the hearing of everybody that per the current decision of the Supreme Court, his ruling or his declaration that he made on the 17th is now stayed, and therefore the status that existed before the 17th is now existing. That will pave the way for them, all of them, to go and do work. Of course, And I'm always mindful of the calendar. They have essentially only 3 weeks left. And meanwhile, they have to go and campaign. They may not even win their seat to come back, both NDC and PP. Some of them may lose. So why are they wasting their time on something that will not achieve them anything?
Lawyer Adofo, I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you on this. Why are they wasting their time on something that may not achieve anything? In any case, in an earlier conversation with Lawyer Dankwa, he mentioned that no current parliament can take a decision that will affect a subsequent parliament. So we'll come back to this conversation. Honorable Mutala, the NPP MPs have indicated that they will recall parliament again. Will the NDC commit to that meeting following yesterday's absence?
Well, first and foremost, there's nothing that the Supreme Court has asked Parliament to do. I have said, and I wanted you to put that question to my friend there, the Supreme Court has the exclusive jurisdiction to interpret law. Did Afenyo Martins go to court seeking any interpretation of any law? Did he go to court seeking the court to determine whether Right Honorable Speaker Bagdin's ruling was legal or illegal? That was not what Afenyo Martins went to court for. And that was not what the court did. So the Parliament is not enjoined to abide by any directive of the Supreme Court. This business of the Supreme Court has ruled, and therefore Parliament should heed. I don't know where it is coming from. It is not about the interpretation of law. The Supreme Court is seeking to direct Parliament as to how Parliament works. They don't have that capacity. The Supreme Court doesn't have the capacity to direct Parliament as to how Parliament works. If Afenyo Martins had gone to court seeking the Supreme Court to determine whether the Speaker's ruling was legal or illegal, was in sync with the Constitution or the law, that's a different matter. If you read the Supreme Court ruling, they are asking Parliament to stay execution of the directives or the ruling of the Speaker. From where? Which law says that the Supreme Court can ask Parliament as to how they work? If Afenyo Martins is going to go back to court, he can go to court and demanding that the Supreme Court should rule or otherwise that the action of the Speaker was not in sync with the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana.
The Supreme Court will be interpreting the provision.
But they didn't interpret any law. They didn't interpret any action. Did they tell me which law they interpreted in this matter? Tell me. Tell me. But let me also make this point. Only two arms of government have the capacity to refer or to deal with any issue on the basis of contempt. So when I hear those who say that the Speaker should be charged for contempt, the Speaker can also charge the Chief Justice for contempt. And that was the position of some of us. That was the position of some of us. That was the position of some of us. That the Speaker should have charged both the Chief Justice and the justices who sat on the matter for contempt of Parliament. Because you cannot work on some... In any case, the Wednesday they went to court, the Tuesday Afenyo Martins went to court. On the basis of what? Now, this business of our ex gratia would have to... Where is it coming from? We don't have ex gratia. And for the avoidance of doubt, members of Parliament don't have ex gratia. The state doesn't buy S cars. I think that people need to get this very clearly. What we have is salary arrears. The state has not bought a Land Cruiser for me or for Afenyo. The state only guarantees for members of Parliament to acquire vehicles. I got the loan to buy the vehicles from my bank. The state only guarantees. Okay. And this I'm coming. Let me make this point. Let me just conclude because you have spoken. Let me just conclude on this. So this business of this country, we should seek for the interest of this country. We should let peace prevail. Who is causing it? Now, isn't it embarrassing that you have members of Parliament who have sworn an oath to be loyal to Parliament? They tend to be loyal to the judiciary rather than Parliament. Isn't it shocking to you that they tend and listen to the pronouncement of the Chief Justice on the matter? And in any case, Honorable Bagbin didn't go to court, and I want to correct this, my senior colleague there. They took him to court. Bagbin didn't go to court. Bagbin didn't go to the Supreme Court. So the argument that all the points I'm making, why didn't he raise it? He didn't go to court. They took him to court on a matter.
So his lawyers went to court to defend him. If Honorable Bagbin had gone to court on the basis of how the Supreme Court could not do even due diligence, that would have been a different matter. So when I raise this point, don't tell me that. Why didn't we raise it until we are raising it now? Because Bagbin went to court. Why didn't he raise it? He didn't go to court. He was taken to court. So he went to court to defend a specific matter. Okay. If Honorable Bagbin had gone to court, he would have raised it. And his press conference, he raised all these issues.
Honorable, my earlier question was that the NPP MPs have indicated that they will recall Parliament again.
Just ruling by Professor Makokwe, and this is majority.